Geopolitics may be the last thing on the minds of audiences who will be lining up for the Barbie movie in 2023. But the pastel-drenched blockbuster, based on a children's doll, seems to have waded into an international controversy about one of the globe's most heavily contested regions, leading it to be banned in Vietnam and censored in the Philippines. At issue is a scene showing the title character, played by Margot Robbie, standing in front of a cartoonish drawing of a world map. Since it was first featured in a trailer for the film, the scene has sparked condemnation in parts of Southeast Asia for allegedly depicting the so-called 9-dash line, used on Chinese-issued maps since 1947. This segmented line represents Chinese maritime claims in the South China Sea, overlapping with the recognized territorial waters of neighbors such as the Philippines, Vietnam, Indonesia, Malaysia, and Brunei. This part of the Western Pacific covers crucial shipping lanes traversed by one-third of the world's maritime shipping, totaling over $3 trillion in annual trade. It also contains massive unexplored reserves of oil, natural gas, and other minerals, as well as fish stocks on which surrounding populations rely for sustenance. Such economic importance has turned the region into a tense chessboard of strategic maneuvering and militarized standoffs involving rival claimants. Beijing asserts that its claims derive from historical rights and that China has exercised economic and military control over the area since the Han Dynasty. The reality, however, is more complicated. Since the hundreds of small islands, reefs, and shoals in the sea are mostly uninhabited rocks, the sea contained no permanent settlements or outposts for most of its history. Moreover, other historical records show some of these land masses as being under Vietnamese rule. The issue became even more complex during the 19th century as much of the area came under the control of outside colonial powers. In the wake of Japan's withdrawal from Taiwan following World War II and the subsequent end of French rule in Indochina, the region's new governments rushed to stake their claims. Ironically, the Chinese claim was initially advanced by the Republic of China government in Taiwan, one of few geopolitical issues on which Beijing and Taipei are aligned. Beijing considers self-governing Taiwan a wayward province that could be retaken by force. But whatever may be found in the archives, historical claims have no bearing on international maritime law. Instead, maritime boundaries are defined by the United Nations Convention on the Law of the Sea, or UNCLOS, ratified by the PRC and other claimant nations. Besides guaranteeing safe passage in international waters, the treaty defines a nation's territorial sea and exclusive economic zone as extending a certain distance from the coastline of its sovereign territory. In 2016, an arbitration tribunal in a case brought by the Philippines dismissed the 9-dash line as having no lawful effect in a decision criticized by both the PRC and ROC. The PRC government, however, has been notably ambiguous about precisely what rights it asserts over the area bound by the line. A common interpretation is that rather than claiming exclusive control over the waters, China asserts the right to occupy and develop any land mass within them. Under UNCLOS, land that is above water at high tide and capable of sustaining human habitation can be claimed by a country as an island territory with its own territorial waters and economic zone. None of the South China Sea islands is recognized as meeting these criteria, nor do they apply to artificial islands. That has not stopped the competing nations from attempting to create a new reality on the ground through extensive development and land reclamation projects, as well as construction of airstrips and military bases. This extensive militarization has led to numerous clashes between naval personnel, as well as the deaths of fishermen crossing into the disputed waters. So what does any of this have to do with Barbie? Probably not much. The drawing in the scene bears little resemblance to any real-world map, and the line, which contains only 8 segments, is just one of many squiggles and scrawls apparently meant to represent the route of the character's journey. But even if no one really believes that Barbie meant to make a statement about Asian geopolitics, the incident provides governments in the region with an opportunity to reassert their claims and bolster their patriotic credentials. And while China's neighbors have legitimate reasons to bristle at the 9-dash line, critics fear that the ban is more of an excuse for censorship than a real concern.